Hi, welcome back to Wild Speculations. I'm Daniel.
I'm Scott.
This week, talk about episode 15, Where the River Goes.
Yep.
So, episode 15, we like to, usually like to start with what we got right. And
right and or wrong.
Right and or wrong, yes. And the biggest thing in this episode that I want to talk about from that perspective is technically not I was right. It's more of I think I was right and I found proof.
Okay.
And that's the Tarask angle.
Okay.
And it's not until the end of the episode when Matt is narrating what's in that journal that they find. But we can go through the episode if we chronologically, if we want. But that's the biggest one. When I was watching it Thursday, I jumped up and I was like, yes! I was like, yeah. And then on my rewatch, normally I work when I'm watching it, and I was doing it on my rewatch this week, except when I got to that point in the episode at the end. I stopped what I was doing, and I got out my notes, and I literally was writing and like pausing it so that I could actually take verbatim quotations, because I was like, this is it, this is where it's at. So that was my biggest thing, and like I say, it's hardly a I told you, we told you so, we called it. It's more of that's the biggest evidence of the eventual big bad. And like Sam even mentioned it at the table. He's like, this sounds like stuff that's beyond our level. I was like, yep, that's called foreshadowing.
Right.
The other... So we had 3 battles in this episode, I think?
Yes.
Yeah. The random encounter.
The Dark Mantles.
Yep. Again, Matt falling back on some classic monsters.
Yep.
Although the legless rock things were new and different.
Yeah.
But
we didn't really get to see much of them.
We will on the way out.
Yeah, I'm sure.
That's my prediction for this Thursday's episode. Is they're gonna have to fight them on the way back, unless they take the other fork, because they didn't take that one. And I think Matt had prepared an encounter for each.
Gotcha.
So either they will encounter those things again, or whatever Matt had prepared on the other side. Or they could go completely the other way and exit the city completely. But I think that is counterproductive to what they need.
I don't think they'll be doing that.
We got a lot of the RP stuff that we got in this episode was more of the reiteration of the predestination paradox of the Ford and Jester. Which, Thursday, I was watching it and it made me laugh because I thought of Quigley Down Under. It's a great movie if you haven't seen it. It's made in 87, I think. 88, something like that. Late 80s.
Yeah, because I was still a preteen when it came out. My mom loved that movie.
Yeah. Alan Rickman is the villain. And it's... I almost said Ted, but that's not his first name. Magnum P.I. What's his name?
Tom Selleck.
Tom Selleck. Tom Selleck's star. But there's a character called Crazy Cora, and she keeps calling Quigley Roy.
Yeah.
And he's always like, my name's not Roy. And she keeps calling him Roy. And like Jester basically keeps calling Ford Oscar, just reminded me of that. Which makes me think that maybe she does have a lot of trauma in her backstory, because Crazy Cora did.
I'm pretty sure she does. And I've been saying that for a while now.
Yeah. So, and I tweeted at both Laura and Travis. I was like, does this remind you of that? I didn't get a response.
Oh.
But that might be giving something away. I don't know. So, Liam leaning into the social awkwardness when they're talking about the events of Tusk Love and the ship sinking, and he's like, yeah, it's always sad when the ship sinks. Dead quiet.
Yes.
Especially in light of what's been hinted at in Ford's backstory, where he seems to be a survivor of a shipwreck.
Yes.
Now, it didn't occur to me until the end of the episode on Thursday.
Okay.
And then on my rewatch, I tried to look for hints.
Uh-huh.
But what if those legless rock monsters are supposed to be some version of Sif, the wizard who apparently manned this tower? Because in the story that they read, the bounty hunter, the fight with the bounty hunter cost him his legs.
Right.
So I was like, I wonder if he built those after his death, because that's another part of this that I kind of want to claim as a recalled it.
Gotcha.
But yeah, so I'm interested to see if they do go down that same tunnel and do fight those things. That if they do any investigation, what they find, because I kind of want to. I think that they were created by Sif after his death.
Okay.
I think. Well, yeah. So one of the things that Matt did in this episode, which I suck at as a GM, is the puzzles.
Yeah. I really like that puzzle.
And it was interesting the way that he built in different layers of clues, because they could have just been in that room and just cast a spell of every school. Was a possible solution.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows what kind of hellish things he would have had to fight going through that. But
and I like that as soon as they went in and saw that dome, Jester's like, "Oh, that's gonna try and kill us." And sure enough, that's where the cube came from.
Laura was on top of it the entire episode.
Yep.
Like, Thursday night, I don't know if I caught on quite as much. Like, I think after the third time, when they went back downstairs, I was like, damn, she's like, on all of it. And on my rewatch, she's calling stuff, from like the very beginning as they're going in there.
Yeah. Oh, we're gonna die. That's gonna attack us.
Yeah, well, and she's like, and we're gonna need to cast spells. She said that almost right off the bat.
And she was getting frustrated because no one was listening to her.
Yeah, so I was just like, awesome. So it kind of makes me wonder, like, even amongst them, Travis has the reputation of being the tactical genius, but I kind of wonder how much is Laura.
And he's just cued in to listen.
Yeah. And how much, like, how often any plan that he comes up with is actually something Laura said off stream in the text in the car right on the way over.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Who knows?
But she was staring daggers at him at one point.
That's a question if either of them are on talks that you can send in.
Yeah. And I think Jester really wants to see Ford's penis. Because she told him to stick his penis in the hole.
Yeah. I think she would have said that to anybody.
But I just thought it was funny.
Both Jester and Laura like the dick jokes, so.
This is true. So one of the things I'm noticing in this campaign, and I don't want to call it a theme, but it may be, is the gender fluidity that Matt's brought into this season.
Yeah.
Bryce, yeah, I was like, what the hell's his name? Bryce in Allfield, and now the mural in this tower had the male and female figures, seemingly the same figure, just gendered. And Sif is a gender neutral name to my ear.
Yeah.
And with that mural, so I think that's going to be important. The language was in Draconic, and Dragonborn do not present the same way gender-wise as other species, being reptilian.
Right.
You have to dig in the cloaca to find out, and that's a little too close for most people. So I think that's going to be, I don't know how important that's going to be in this campaign, but it's something I noticed. And last campaign, they had several bisexual, homosexual characters. Vax was a little in the gray area, Gilmore.
Mm-hmm. Even Vex.
Yeah.
She had the fling with Zara.
Yeah.
Tyrion was gay.
Yeah. And then, because they're not in the show anymore, I can't. Allura and Kima. So yeah, I think the gender fluidity and gender identity is going to play into this season.
Yeah.
I don't yet know how that interacts with the plot. If it does, it may not.
Right.
But it was just something I noticed. The fact that Sif's journal wasn't Draconic, I found interesting. Draconic is an old language, and it is one of the magical languages.
Right.
The languages of power. But Sif Duthar could be Draconic.
Yeah.
Okay. And one of the things that I'm wondering about is Gordranus and Nicodranus, do they have a Draconic root there? Because we don't know a lot about Draconia, other than it was basically a floating city,
right,
and a fallen empire, and you had the Revenites,
right, the slave force,
yeah, and that's also on this continent, if memory serves, just on the other side.
I believe I'm not entirely. I don't. It's been so long.
Because I think that was. Yeah, I don't remember now. But I'm pretty sure it's on the same continent. Just near Taldore.
Right.
So yeah, I think that's... Because we haven't heard of Gordranus before.
It's true.
And there was a lot of things in that last part that I've been trying to pick apart.
Okay.
Because he talks about how in the journal that kings and paupers alike were being impaled on pikes, which generally is the actions of an evil empire. But then Sif goes on to talk about how they bemoan the weakness of flesh, enduring beyond life, which is very much Lich talk.
Yeah.
Which is the other sort of, we called it, because last episode, if you remember, I said Vecna, that this is going to be attached to Vecna in some way.
Right.
And the journal puts Sif in that time frame.
Yeah.
During the last calamity. And he was doing experiments with the soul and trying to figure out presumably how to capture it, use it, and presumably he made those will-o-wisps with whatever process he had. So, the actual quotes, since we're basically there. He talks about the coming war and foolish people of faith following their gods to destruction. The armies of Gordranus. So I think that is going to play into where Jester's from. But he says, eternal hunger of the crawling king, he who tunnels beneath the world will find him. And like my brain was like, that's a Tarrasque. And maybe it's because I was already thinking about the Tarrasque.
Right.
I mean, I acknowledge my bias.
Fallen King. Pretty sure that's a Lovecraftian term.
Yeah, and well, that wouldn't also surprise me because we talked about how Ford's patron had a little bit of that color. And we talked about how, what if they're connected to the Chained Oblivion?
Right.
So, yeah, I think we're starting to see this all sort of distill and come down. He said the bounty hunter that he burned in the brazier flames of erasure. Now, earlier in the notes, he talked about how the soul was connected to the flesh and couldn't be separated by ash or ice.
Right.
So, and I think that dodecahedron that they have is connected to this idea.
Okay.
Where Sif didn't want to just kill this bounty hunter or enslave his soul or spirit. He wanted to erase him from existence. And so, and I think that dodecahedron has something to do with that idea. Where having it or being attached to it might prevent that from happening.
Okay.
That's sort of a long shot, but I think that's one of the things that Matt is going to be playing with in this campaign is the idea of rebirth.
Yeah.
So, and maybe that's part of the angle of the gender fluidity. Maybe that's how that's going to play into it.
Perhaps.
Because there's a lot of, in reincarnation faiths, that you come back as, one sex than the next.
Yeah.
So it says, quaking hills, darkened sky, the betrayer gods come.
Right.
So that line,
that references the Chained Oblivion and all the others.
yeah, and really was like this is it. We're gonna So it's a question of, because I don't think Matt has discussed the Chained Oblivion much.
Not a whole lot, no. Not to my knowledge.
Like, he's alluded to that it, because sometimes he talks about it as if it's a deity and sometimes not. So I'm thinking that maybe the betrayer gods created the Tarask, the Chained Oblivion, and the gods had to do the trammels to bind it.
Gotcha. So the Chained Oblivion was like a super weapon of the gods?
Yeah.
That got its own cult?
Yep.
Okay.
At least, I mean, that's sort of where my mind is at on that front. I think it's funny to me because I also had a player who had the Warlock invocation, Eldritch Sight, which is detect magic at will.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to be on top of it when you got a player with that. And they're like, "What school of magic is it?"
Yeah.
You gotta know or make it up quick. And Matt still seems to be sometimes slower.
Yeah.
On that.
Well. Yeah, and the thing is, with Eldritch Sight, it says you can use Detect Magic at will.
Yeah.
It's still an action to cast Detect Magic.
Yes.
So.
Does Caleb take levels in Warlock just to get that?
I don't know. If he does it, it's not just to get that. Is it all wizards or just some? Because I know like divination and another one. I think it's 6th level that when you cast, you can regain spell slots.
No, I think that's just divination.
Just divination.
Knowledge clerics have.
Because I know you can technically, because that warlock, a divination wizard who has that invocation as a multi-class, can use that to recharge their spells. Because just when you cast a spell at 1st level or higher, and you're technically using that to cast a spell, you're just not using a spell slot. Rules as written, it will recharge. Just like the invocation that lets you cast Mage Armor will do the Abjurer's Ward.
Yeah, but Detect Magic is a 1st level spell, and it has to be 2nd level or higher for the recharge.
Okay.
But I can see, the Mage Armor one would fuel the Abjuration shield.
Yeah, it does. So I just wasn't sure if there's one that would do a transmutation. I know there's the jump invocation.
So,
I don't know.
Not has said she needs Caleb to get strong.
Yes.
And I've said why I think that is.
Right.
That she wants him to get true polymorph. If he starts going down Warlock, that will begin to diminish the chance that he gets that 9th level spell slot.
Yeah. Because when do they get 9th level? 18?
17th.
17th. So that means he can only take a 3-level dip.
Yeah.
Or it goes away.
Yeah.
Now, a 2-level dip is pretty sweet for Warlock.
It is, yeah. It's probably... It's either the most or second most popular dip next to Fighter.
Right. Although...
So... Yeah... Yeah, Divination is the only one.
Okay.
That gives the
Thought there was another one.
The recharge. There's a cleric domain that does it. I think.
Maybe I'm confusing that.
I think it's trickery or not. I think it's trickery when you cast a enchantment spell. Recharge the spell slot. Speaking of spell slots and recharging them. Jester has a second level and a first level.
Caleb has 1 spell slot.
I think he said it was second level.
Okay.
I could be wrong, but I think he said second level. Ford has 1 spell slot left because he cast Armor of Agathis, which is still active.
Yeah.
So they're going to have to rely on their heavy hit meleeers for this fight.
And cantrips.
Which, if I'm right in what monster that thing is, I think what needs to happen is Jester needs to cast Guiding Bolt at second level.
Okay.
And then do Sacred Flame and keep her last spell slot to bring somebody back from 0. Because if I'm right, and it's a Wraith, because I was thinking about it, and I'm like, what is it? And my first thought was a Shadow.
Right.
But a Shadow is only a half CR. That's not a boss monster.
Nor is it a monster just against a party of 6 4th level characters.
This is true. Now a Wraith is a CR5.
Right.
Which is right there.
Yeah.
I mean, they're low on resources. Half of them are half hit points, I think.
Yeah.
Or less. So it's a little dangerous, but they have the action economy, and they have at least 1 magic weapon.
Correct.
If not 2. And Molly can do Radiant with his.
Yeah.
So you've played Blood Hunters.
Yes.
Molly currently, if my memory is correct, has the right of 1 on each blade.
Okay.
Can he drop the cold to do Radiant?
He can. He can drop the cold. He can do Radiant, I believe. And it's been a while since I've tried to do this, so I may be wrong, but I believe it's just like adding a 3rd weapon. His hit points are going to lower again. He doesn't get those hit points back until he takes a rest.
Okay. Well, because ending the right, his maximum will go up again.
Right, but his hit points, his current hit points won't go back up.
But so he'll activate the right, and then his max hit points will drop again.
But so will your current.
Oh.
Your current and your max drop that much when you activate the right. So he will be losing hit points if he does that. Yeah, it specifically says you reduce both your max and your current hit points by your level.
He hasn't taken any other damage though.
Yeah, so he may be willing to.
So yeah, I think that's what Molly needs to do.
But that's why he took the tough feat.
Yeah, was to have the hit points to play with.
Yeah. Because also the blood maledicts, those were, if he wants to augment them and make, they have a base effect and an augmented effect, and that augmented effect requires you to, basically, I think his damage die is a D4 still, so he takes 4 hit points of damage.
Wow.
To augment that. When he goes to D6, he'll take 6 hit points of damage. It's your die type and damage to augment that. So it's a lot of playing with your hit points and balancing that with, am I going to get hit in a Blood Hunter? So.
Alright, so. And it's a question of, is Yasha's Moonblade magic or not?
Right.
Oh, they have the Greatsword. That's definitely magic.
Yeah.
That they got off the wall.
But they don't know what kind of magic.
True.
And we do know there is a cursed greatsword in the world of Exandria. Because I fed it to you guys during the one shot.
Oh, yeah.
It appears to be this. I don't think that's what this is,
no.
But Matt has definitely populated cursed items in that world.
That does bring me to the question I was going to ask. Do you think this is going to be another intelligent weapon?
No, but I hope so. I don't think we'll see intelligent weapons for a few more levels, but I really want it to be.
Yeah, I'd say there's probably a 20% chance that it's...
Okay, yeah, I'd agree with that.
Intelligent. Or... is it a vestige?
If it's a vestige, it's not one that's in the Tal'Dorei campaign setting.
True, but he does say there are
He does say there are others, yeah, so...
and it's from the time of when the other vestiges were created.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are my thoughts on the weapon. But they do have it. If Yasha's Moonblade isn't magic,
do you really think he'd throw a vestige out this early though?
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Well, because he designed them to level up with the players.
Okay. But I mean, still,
like the mechanics are built in. They will level up. So I think, especially if I am right, and he's got this mapped out of what the big bad's going to be, and that everything's going to build to that big bad being the Tarrasque, I think we're going to see the vestiges start to appear. Because I mean, they had one of the vestiges before stream started.
Did they?
Yeah.
Which one?
The Wheel of Mending.
That was a vestige?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Huh. I don't remember that being an actual vestige.
Yeah. I'm almost positive it's listed as a vestige in the Tal'Dorei book. Because
it's not statted in the Tal'Dorei book.
Tiberius was after the vestiges.
Hmm.
Like everyone thought he was crazy for going after them, but that's what his quest was to go after the vestiges.
Gotcha.
And that was the first one that he found.
Hmm.
And that was pre-stream.
Okay. Well, maybe then.
So,
I think it'll be interesting if it is, because this is a decidedly less heroic, less moral group than Vox Machina. Even though, I mean, in their words, Vox Machina were assholes too. Yeah. This is definitely, a step down. It'll be interesting because some of those vestiges require non-good characters, require,
Mm-hmm.
It'd be interesting to see them play with that side of the vestiges.
Yeah.
Condemner, the heavy crossbow. The circlet, the onyx circlet that digs into your scalp, and
Yeah.
Could see Caleb with that. Increases your saves, but also increases the DC of the saves of your spells.
Yeah. So because I didn't get to wax all philosophical and strategically about the will-o-wisps last time, because they figured it out in episode. The reason I say that it would be important for Molly to do the radiant thing is if it is a wraith,
right?
They have resistance to acid, cold, fire, lightning, and thunder, bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing from non-magical attacks, not made with silvered weapons.
Right.
Okay. It's possible Yasha's greatsword is not magical, but is silvered.
Yeah. Moonblade.
Yeah. So even though it's not magical, she still may be able to affect it.
Yeah.
But it is immune to necrotic and poison damage, and immune to charmed, exhaustion, grappled, paralyzed, petrified, poison, prone, and restrained.
Correct. But I believe it doesn't have any vulnerabilities per se.
Correct. But the radiant damage
will make it magical, will make it the damage go through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and that's also why I say that I think Jester needs to start with that second level guiding bolt. 5d6 radiant damage right off the bat.
Right.
Is potentially half of this thing's hit points.
Okay.
Average hit points is 67. If she can roll near, that gives her almost 30 points of damage that she can do, which is almost half of its hit points. And then the next attack has advantage.
Yeah.
Ford has a magic sword, so all of his damage will get through.
Right. And if he curses...
Yeah, because he hasn't used his Hexblade to curse yet.
Yeah. And that could help prolong it because, it's going to increase his crit range. It's going to increase the damage.
Isn't that necrotic, though?
Don't remember. I think it's just extra damage.
Okay. But yeah, they got all worried because it's incorporeal, and they've had bad experiences with it, with those things, but... I guess a specter is possible, but I think the most likely is the wraith. Like I say, the shadow is a little weak, although so it's a question of, does Matt want to risk a death spiral or not?
You're right.
Because it could be a shadow that he has bumped up the HP on to put it on par with a wraith. Because part of me thinks that, because the shadow drains strength. And I think lowering their strength scores, like lowering an attribute score, has a super powerful effect on players.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, your hit points go down, oh, and your max goes down, which is what the Wraith's life drain does.
Right. And
if they kill someone with that, they can raise the specter. So long as that character wasn't evil. I guess because presumably an evil character is on their way to hell already.
Right.
So do we think they were all ready to run? Well, most of them were ready to run. Ford is like, no, we're going to take this thing out.
I think Ford's ready to take it out. I think Bo's willing to take it out, but jumped on the Jester bandwagon when she said we got to run.
Yeah.
I think Yasha would want to stay.
Yeah. Oh, and you said you were telling me about crit roll stats.
Yeah.
Proving us wrong.
Well,
proving me wrong.
Well, and again, they don't cite, so-and-so told us that. They didn't say, Ashley said this. They didn't say where they saw the evidence for it. They just said, Yasha picked Sentinel. Yeah. I'm assuming they have enough of a relationship, they're not going to post that unless they have evidence.
Yeah.
They're usually really good about that. But yeah, evidently Yasha did not take Great Weapon Master. She took Sentinel. So she and Bo both have the Sentinel feat. Yeah, which is interesting. Because if they team up on someone, oh, you're going to attack her? Okay, I'm going to attack. Oh, you're going to attack me? Okay, she's going to attack you.
Yeah.
And then they can just go back and forth, Oh, you want to leave? Sorry.
Yep. Yeah.
Sorry, Rogue, you can't bonus action disengage. I still get to hit you.
Yeah, and I was... I think they talked about that, or talked about how, look, because they have that feat, we can just run around. Because it used to be they were much more cognizant of the opportunity attack.
Right.
And the last couple episodes when they've gotten into combat, they haven't worried about that.
Yeah.
And this one, especially against the gelatinous cube, they were provoking every turn almost.
Yeah.
So.
Well, see, if they were going for that, they should have taken mobile.
Well, the thing is, I think they're trying to proc the Sentinel's opportunity attack.
Gotcha. Because
is my thinking.
Because mobile is the way around Sentinel.
Yeah.
Because mobile says they can't take attacks of opportunity against you.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter if you disengage or not.
If you attack them, you can move.
Because that one says if someone moves with the disengage action, you can attack them anyway.
Yeah.
So mobile is the way around Sentinel.
Yeah. But I think... yeah, I think they decided that if we have two Sentinels, from an action economy standpoint, it makes sense that you always do your action and then move. The thing attacks, procs the Sentinel of somebody. They get their attack in, possibly both Sentinels, depending on the battlefield arrangement. So,
well, I see. And when I read that, I was like, oh, that's cute. And I thought of Thor Ragnarok in the arena. Thor and Hulk are hitting people into each other so that the other one can take the attack. And I was like, oh, that's cute. They're going to do a little couples fight thing, Oh, I'm going to hit this. It's going to come after me. Oh, now you get to hit it. Now it's going to come after you. Now I get to hit it.
Yep. Well, and especially, that will work really well with Yasha reckless attacking all the time, where the enemies have advantage to hit her.
Right. And then,
so they'll take the strike on her, and then Bo will hit them.
Which will piss them off to go after Bo, and Yasha will hit them again with the reckless attack.
Yeah.
Just this kind of like more violent Lady in the Tramp scene where they finally whittle the thing down and then, come together in the middle. Let's see some fan art for that.
I hadn't considered that Bo and Yasha were Sig and Major Armstrong, Full Metal Alchemist fans out there. But yeah, that's
where my mind went when I read the. And so now we know everyone's fourth level.
Yeah.
Because Yasha was the missing one.
Yeah.
Because we knew Bo used the Sentinel feat, not used the crossbow expert. Molly was the first one we knew because he just shouted, I took tough.
Yeah. So here's a question for you. Do you think Sam has decided not to use daggers at all, ever, because of Liam?
No. I have a feeling it will be a last resort because of Liam, but I don't think he's like sworn off them.
Okay. Well, rogues have so few tools, you don't want to swear off, but...
I think because Liam used daggers, he wants to explore a different angle of rogue.
Yeah,
and so he's going to use the hand crossbow. He's doing a different subclass.
Yeah.
And I think they're very consciously, Ashley took, the zealot.
Yeah.
Anyone who's playing something that has been played is taking a different subclass.
Yeah.
They're all, and not that, you can have two characters with the same class and same subclass and be very different feeling characters. But I think they're just trying to, especially because they're so cognizant of their role in D&D, in pop culture, they're trying to explore as many branches as possible.
I can see that.
Plus, they're actors, they're storytellers. It's fun to try new things.
Yeah.
To stretch those acting muscles. That's why in our games, and we talked about this on our GM corners, you have that randomization chart for race and background, and, I'm really enjoying just rolling my stats in order, rolling a random race, rolling a random background, and seeing what character creates. And, get me out of my comfort zone. Let me play something that I'm not used to. Let me play something that, is going to stretch that storytelling muscle.
I hope they fight and not run. Do you think they'll give the gentleman the book? Because Caleb seemed to be...
Oh, if Caleb has his way, there's no way in hell they'll give him the book.
We agree on that.
However, I think this is probably going to be the point of contention with him and Bo that's been building. Because she's made it very clear, we do the job. After that, you can do what you need to. She made it very clear when so we can, let's just give him the book and run. Both her and Jester said that.
Yeah.
We can just run and give him the book. And he's like, and Liam's like, or we could tell him we found nothing. So I think that's going to be a potential possible for the buildup of that face-to-face.
Yeah. Do you think... So, Ford threatened to come to blows, and Travis said on Talks that he doesn't think he would have attacked him.
Right.
I think Bo will attack him.
Oh, Bo will. Yeah. And she said so on Talks.
Yeah.
That if she had been in there, she would have.
Yeah. So, I get more and more fearful the longer and longer that
confrontation delays.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do too. Because it's going to be bad. Because the second she attacks Caleb, Knott's attacking her.
Yeah, unless she manages to do it when Knott's not around.
Right. But if they're going to do this
over
the book, and what they're going to do with the book, I guarantee it's going to be a group discussion.
Oh, yeah. The thing is she can take Caleb out in one round.
Easily. She may not even have to spend a key point to do it. Oh, no. Now that he's fourth, she would, yeah.
Yeah. But she's gonna hit him because she's got a +7, 6
6, I think.
to hit him. His AC's 11 or 12.
12.
So I mean that's virtually
no, AC is 11.
Virtually guaranteed hits.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hit him. D8 plus Dex. Key point. D4 plus Dex. D4 plus Dex.
Yeah.
So 4, 8, 12. That's 12 hit points, just in her modifier, not including what's gonna come out on the dice.
Yeah. So it'll depend on the die roll. But then if he's that hurt and tries to back out, if he doesn't take the disengage action, or even if he does, she's a sentinel.
Yep.
the killing blow will be there.
Yeah. So, no, I don't think she'll kill him, but I think she'll definitely put him down.
Yeah. Well, if Caleb's as smart as his stats are, when this discussion happens, he'll put some distance and preferably another party member between him and Bo.
Yeah. He's already used Arcane Recovery.
Yep. Which is why he has one spell slot.
So, yeah.
I don't know. I think Nut's always for running. Jester's obviously for running.
The thing is, like, they're in a tight spot because if they run and leave that thing there, it's going to be like in Firefly when they tried to give Niska back his money.
Right.
But didn't do the job.
Yeah.
It's not going to end well.
Yeah.
Like the best option for them is to fight the thing, kill it, go back to the gentleman, tell them they found nothing, try to pull that lie off, and then possibly as a peace offering, Caleb gives Bo the book to give to the Cobalt Reserve.
If Caleb does that, he's going to try and use it as a way to have her get him.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And we're just going to open up another can of worms.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't see him doing that unless he takes time to read through it and study it first. Make some notes and then be like, oh.
Well, I mean, Matt. From what I got from Matt's narration, he's gotten everything out of the book that he's going to get.
Okay. Well, he may take some notes.
Yeah, maybe.
His memory isn't foolproof.
That's true.
And his memory is anything he's read within the last month. So if he wants the information to last longer than a month, he's going to need to take notes.
Yeah.
But
so yeah, I think do we see more of the Yasha Bo ship?
I think that is going full steam. I think that's an inevitability at this point. I also think that while it will take longer to get there, Jester and Ford are an inevitability.
Yeah, I think Travis is fighting as hard as he can against that, and Nora's pushing as hard as she can for it.
Right. But I think they're both already committed to it happening.
Yeah.
Just the timing is,
yeah.
Because they were 14th, 15th level before they started getting in relationships with each other in Talks Machnia?
10th or 12th, I think.
Yeah, and now they're only 4th, so I think, like, Travis is wanting to hold off till then. I think Travis and Ashley are the two that are playing it coy and stalling it. And Marisha and Laura are the two that are like, let's just do this.
Yeah. Now, in thinking about that, I was like, it's almost more interesting if there's somebody else that comes in.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of hoping whoever they have as a guest star, especially if it's a multiple episode guest star, gets in on that mix.
Pulls a Will Friedle and just kisses her.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then throws that whole thing in.
Or pulls a Zara.
Yeah.
So yeah, because like the Ford Jester thing is, like I said, it's a predestination paradox,
right?
Because of Travis's one shot. The Bo Yasha thing, I don't know. I just, from a storytelling perspective, I think it's almost more interesting if that reoccurring guest star becomes the love interest of one of the party members.
Yeah. Just
because I think there's more tension to be mined there.
Yeah.
Two adventurers in two different parties, you know, they come together for this job.
I mean,
that job.
I would like to see it be a guest star or an NPC. We saw some flirtation with NPCs that come and go with the Vax Gilmore.
Yeah.
With Tiberius forlorning for the unrequited love of Allura.
Yep.
You know, we had a few of those. I would like to see one of those explored more, or a guest star. You know, well, you know, be interesting. What would happen if Keyleth had chosen Cash?
Maybe a bit of Pumat and Not.
Ooh.
Or whoever his mentor was. I can't.
Do you think that's what he meant by love small creatures?
Yeah, I do.
He meant love in the dirty way.
Yeah.
It could be.
And that will make Not super uncomfortable if that is the way Matt set it up.
Yeah.
Because she has such a low charisma, she wouldn't know how to handle it.
Right. And I think as far as like love interest goes, not so much in Scanlan going after Pike, settling down with Pike, but the earlier part where it's kind of the player, I think that's the Molly.
Yeah.
Molly is very much identified as, pansexual, guys, girls, whatever,
Yeah. Although, is that more of a function of his amnesia?
It could be. It could also just be an extension of part of Taliesin.
Yeah.
He's mentioned on the Wednesday Club. He's the B in the LGBT community, so he could just be exploring that.
Yeah.
Who knows? He may never actually be in a relationship in the campaign. Although, if anyone doesn't get in a relationship, my money is on Caleb. If you're going to have to pick one to not have a...
Molly's my pick.
Really?
Yeah. And for a very specific reason.
Okay.
Because I think Liam has in mind the arc that he envisions for Caleb to go on. And I think that arc is the exact opposite of Vax. Where Vax started off as happy-go-lucky, take chances.
Right.
To the heavy fate of the world.
Right.
Dour personality. Caleb starts there.
Okay.
So I think the arc that Liam has in mind for him is that slowly he begins to get everything he ever wanted in life. And becomes more happy.
Okay.
I'm not saying a relationship is part of that.
Right.
But I think where Vax fought that urge,
Caleb will embrace it.
Yeah.
It could be.
And I think we've seen some of that in how he's opening up more
and attaching to people. Yeah.
Ooh. And we are over time.
Oh.
So
We'll see you guys.
We're gonna go enjoy Talks, and we will see you next week.
Bye.